it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. Today I've got 3 replays to show you in the free level 100 season pass reward tank, the 112. Now what I'm going to do before we get into the replay, I'm just going to briefly talk about the tank and then we'll show you what I mean in the 3 replays we've got to show you today. So what is this tank? It's a Chinese tier 8 heavy tank. And it has preferable matchmaking. So that means you will only ever see +1 above your matchmaking or the same matchmaking. So you will never see tier 10s in this tier 8 tank. At worst case scenario, you will see tier 9 tanks. Majority of the time you will be in tier 8 lobbies when in this vehicle. So to be honest, this tank isn't one I actually got on with that much. I didn't really enjoy it, to be fair. But for the balance of the review, I will just sort of say the positives first. The biggest positive is the tank has preferable matchmaking, which is nice if you don't have many tanks with preferable matchmaking. Then it's good because sometimes you just don't want to play tier 10s and your tier 8s. So that's always quite nice. The second big positive about the tank is it does have very good armour. It's got good turret armour, it's got good hull armour, and yeah, you can ricochet a lot of shots off of this tank. But it has 390 alpha, which is good for a tier 8 heavy tank. But when it comes down to the cons, it does have a very low penetration. On your standard rounds, it only has 175 penetration on your AP rounds, which a lot of targets, especially when you fight some of the tier 9s, you are going to need to use your heat rounds, of which it has 250 penetration. But I think for me, the reason I didn't like the tank, I didn't get on with the tank, I would say, mostly, isn't actually the penetration issues. It was for me, the gun just feels so derpy. Like, I've got the accuracy down to 0.36 with my equipment setup, you will see, and crew setup, you will see shortly, because I take everything to make that accuracy better. It still feels like if you didn't fully aim your shot, you just ended up missing it. So that's the kind of the thing which frustrated me the most about the tank. But like I say, it does have positives. Like if you don't have any pref matchmaking tanks, it's quite nice to have. But that's enough of me rambling on. Let's get on to the 3 replays I've got to show you. And yeah, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here we are for replay number 1 on mines where we are top tier. And if you want to see the equipment and crew setup I run, you'll be able to see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. Now, we're going to push to the hill initially and just see if we can get into a battle. We're not going to try and push up onto the hill. We're just going to try and stop and see if we can fight any tanks trying to get onto the hill. Now, it does have 6 degrees of gun depression, so for a Chinese heavy tank, that's it is workable for the type of tank it has. It's not like a chieftain or anything like that, but it's not that sort of tank. But 6 degrees is workable. Now you can see I've actually started off very well, and we've got a shot into that light tank and a shot into that atomic. Now in this replay, my gun actually does work for me, but that's not always the case. You'll find out when you play it that you will get frustrated that shots would just miss because you haven't fully aimed them. But in this replay, that's not really the case. RMGesus was on my side, so we've got some nice shots into that atomic there as he pokes. I'm not going to push up to the hill with this atomic still there because he's going to have side shots in, just like he's shooting this Cheery down the left. I need to focus him, but I'm just waiting for him to poke, and when he pokes, I'm going to shoot him because I'll put him onto a 2-shot to us now. He does in fact poke again, and we squeeze another shot into his lower plate with our AP rounds, and we've put him onto a 1-shot to us now, which is good. If we can get rid of that atomic, if he pokes again, we'll be able to kill him. But he actually gets shut down by a friendly Indian Panzer. And we've done well now to start to win the hill. There's 1 tank on the hill. Got to be careful when I poke him, I don't get shot by these tanks in the left. But as you can see, he's not really paying attention to me because tanks have come around the back of the hill. And he's actually, I think, don't have his track. No, he has realised now. But we've got side shots into these tanks, and this is a great start for us, to be honest with you, and we've kind of, mine's also not on a bigger map, and we won the hill pretty much. I think there's a light tank on the hill, but that's really it, and that's given us a bit of advantage now because most of the tanks are kind of stuck in A12 line. We are eating shots off this medium tank. I'm not too concerned because I've got a lot of hit points, and if he pokes again, I might be able to shoot him, but for the time being, I'm just going to try and focus out the enemy Alpha Tiger there because it's a top tier heavy, and we pick up our first kill and put us into 2,400 damage. But with only 7 tanks remaining, we've definitely got the enemy team surrounded. It's looking like it's going to be a win. Just how much damage can you get? And as I say about the accuracy, sometimes Arm Jesus can work, and we just kill that eye in the rain there. Or Borsig, I should say, in the corner. Now we're going to look to try and shoot the T20. Got another nice shot into there, putting this on to close to 3,000 damage now with 2 kills and 5 enemy tanks, and we do pick up a little bit of track assistance there. So you can see this game we haven't really actually needed to fire our our heat rounds for the penetration, because mainly the heavy armor tanks we've actually had side shots on. And although it does have very low penetration of the 175, you do have to remember that you're pref matchmaking, so a lot of the time you will at least be fighting tanks the same tier as you, and a lot of them you'll be able to pen. But you can see now we're going to push to try and get as much damage as we can out of the remaining shots there. T20's playing peekaboo with me. I can afford to eat shots at this point. It really doesn't matter. Can't save it for next game, so I'm just going to go in and just try and get the damage. Get a nice shot into this enemy AMX here. Put him on to one shot. Try and ram him for the kill, but it gets shut down. And now we're going to fire at the rear of this enemy heavy tank. And you can see this is where the 175 penetration does struggle a little bit. I was going to try and finish off the T20 there because I thought he might poke, but we missed that opportunity. And again, we're going to try and finish off the enemy heavy tank here, and we're shooting at the rear of the tank with, and that wasn't enough to pen it, so we have to swap to our heat shells here, and then we should be able to get the pen. But I suspected to get taken out before we fired the trigger, but as it turns out it doesn't. We do pick up the kill. We just miss out a bit of damage, because if we would have just shot the heat rounds initially, we would have actually got a full pen in there. So end of the first replay, we get 3 kills. We get just shy of 4,000 damage with 800 assistance. It is only the first class, because there was quite a lot of tier 6s, I believe, in that matchmaking. But we have a good game nonetheless. But let's move on to replay number 2, which is more of a quick replay, and then we got one final replay to come. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2 on the cliff, where we're top tier. There's 1 enemy light tank and 1 enemy artillery. Now initially I wanted to push to the F5-6 line because I didn't want to risk the cross at the 1-2 line. And I was hoping to get a little bit of support come this way. Unfortunately I don't end up getting that much support, but I do get a few tanks. And there's kind of blocked on the cross there, which has kind of delayed us getting to this position, which is not ideal, because I did have initially had a good spawn for it. And the quicker I can get there, the less likely I'm going to take damage, and the more likely I'm going to be able to do damage to the enemy team if I can take those positions early. But the enemy team, as you can see, have made quite an aggressive play, and they've actually pushed into the bowl. We get a nice shot into that enemy light tank as we're approaching our destination. We just stopped to put a shot in. And I've included this replay because, well, you're going to see why in the end. But I feel like, all I'm going to say is I did as much as I could. We get a lovely time shot on the enemy tank crossing the up to the hill there. And we've actually had a good game, considering we haven't actually got to our initial position yet, and already picked up 2 shots. But the enemy team have pushed very aggressively into the bowl. I'm hoping to be able to get side shots into them, and we do manage to pick up a kill there, and already onto 1,000 damage. And so far, we're in a good position ourselves. We're taking the position. But our enemy team, our friendly team, are starting to die, which is not ideal for me, to be honest with you. So I'm going to poke and put a shot into this enemy tank destroyer here, hoping that I'm going to just not take one in return. I do get fortunate enough that I don't eat a shot, and I do pick up a shot. But most of our team, as you can see, are just camping down the 1-2 line, which is never a great idea. You kind of want to do it when you're in the tank destroyer, etc. It makes sense. But when you've got all your heavy tanks and your medium tanks sitting in there, you lose all map control, and more times than not you lose the game when that happens, unless someone who's sort of trying to take the control does well on the other side. And we're left in a very awkward situation, because suddenly this game has gone from close-ish to the enemy team's got to double our numbers, and we're now in a 6 versus 12. So I'm already thinking, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do here before this game ends. I'm just going to try and get as much as I can before I die. Thankfully, the enemy artillery is not looking at us at this point, because when they do start to look at us, we're going to have another problem to concern ourselves with. This enemy medium tank is, crossing up there to shoot the enemy team camping at the back of the map, but obviously wasn't really alert enough to the fact that I had the middle zone, and I'm able to take him out for it, picking up our 2nd kill of the game. But as you see, I've kind of, at this point, thought, well, there's literally nothing I can do I don't think to make us win, because look at the scoreline and look at the position the map enemy team now have. But I'm going to dig in, and I'm not going to go down without a fight. I'm just going to try and do as much as I possibly can and get as much damage as I can, even if the game's going to be a loss. Looking for a shot on that light tank, a little bit awkward with my gun depression, but thankfully he reverses into our shot, and we're able to pick up a third kill there, put us onto about 2,600 damage. Now in a 4 versus 10. I'm getting shot by the right hand side, which is a tier 6 medium, but you can see my armor's holding up and I'm bouncing, looking to shoot this SU, because that SU will not struggle to pen us, but we do put them onto a one shot. But you can see now it is now a 2 versus 10. The enemy artillery is looking to shoot us as well, and I'm kind of surrounded in all sorts of situations. So getting shot from the rear, from the tank which was on the hill, getting shot from the right, artillery shooting at us. We do finish off the SU, and then we try and just reverse for a second, just try and get another shot in, and then unfortunately for me, no, we do get a shot into the medium before I die, but yeah, unfortunately for me, it's just 1 versus 9, and we then get ammo racked at the end, which probably meant we couldn't get an additional pen to put us above 4k. But I feel like we did everything we could. Like I say, it's only the second class and the high caliber because we lost. But if you look at the scoreboard there, you can see, yeah, I kind of did everything possible to get the win. I was just checking that any of those guys were bots, because I don't ever use bot replays on my video. So we've got one final replay to come, and let's move over and see how we get on. Okay, so here we are for the final replay on Dragon Ridge, and if you can see here, I'm not moving. That's because as I tried to start this game, someone knocked on my door, so I kind of missed the initial couple of seconds of this video. Probably should have skipped ahead, so you didn't have to watch me stationary for a bit. But I am now back in the game, and we've got back to our controller, so let's start playing. So Dragon Ridge, I can't say I'm a massive fan of the map. There's 2 enemy artilleries in the game, 1 enemy light tank, so it's quite a balance on the light tanks here. But yeah, say Dragon Ridge, I'm not overly fond of this map, but that's what we've got to deal with. And it's tier 8 matchmaking, but there's a lot more tier 8s in this lobby, so we're not as top tier, if you like. We're top tier, but there's not as many tier 6s to fight against. So initially, as we make our push into this sort of middle area of the map, an enemy team have already kind of pushed up, and we've got a light tank who's played a very, very aggressive position, and we're looking to shoot him. Unfortunately, that shot doesn't go true, and he gets away with one there. But I need to get rid of this Super Chaffee. I can't have him just driving around the back of us. It's not going to be ideal. So we do put one into him, put him onto a one shot. But you can see there's a lot of enemy tanks now in this sort of fight, and it's getting a bit awkward. I need to kill this light tank now. I just want to get rid of the tank driving around like a maniac, and we do thankfully set him on fire. At least dealt with that threat. But I'm getting shot by the enemy tanks down the left, and I'm getting shot at by the artillery. So this is not ideal, but we do at least have a lot of supports on the 7-8 line shooting down, so that hopefully should stop these enemy tanks crossing onto us without taking punishment. But I want to try and get into a fight and brawl them. But you can see I'll swap to the small mini map here. That's because if the enemy tanks try and come behind me, I need to know about it pretty quickly. And that is what's happened. You can see these enemy tanks have come behind us. Unfortunately, our Oho is caught out. Not a great deal we can do about that. He's just trying to get himself into cover. And I need to come around here and try and help and put shots into the tanks which are shooting our Oho. I want to try and help him out. Now, I do swap to the heat shells for the Tiger 2 because at the angle he's at, I might even struggle to pen the lower plate with the 175 pen. You know, I can pen it, but it wouldn't necessarily be a guaranteed with the angle he's at, and I need to be killing his tank because you can see we have a lot of tanks around us, and I need to focus out tanks. Now the Oho does a good job of finishing off that Tiger 2, and that's dealt with at least one of the threats here, but we still have this enemy Atomic and an enemy BZ pushing in. Obviously the BZ can pen us, and he has the big 650 Alpha guns, so I don't really want to eat shots from that. And obviously if we shoot in the HE rounds, it can splash us for damage, but he does also have a very long reload, so it will give me a window of opportunity if he does fire to get a shot into him, or also, you know, potentially get shot into the atomic. But he's kind of boosted here, and he's kind of allowed us to get shots in. So hopefully we can try and take him out. Oho sets him on fire. I'm looking to try and get a shot in. Won't be able to finish him off here, but I do put him onto a one shot. At least now, if he pushes around, we can potentially kill him. Atomic is full health, and you see, I'm just trying my best. I can't, it's awkward because I don't want to push around this corner knowing that there might be tank destroyers potentially covering these two tanks. So I'm kind of waiting for them to allow us to shoot them, if you like, and give us an opportunity to shoot them. I would love to finish off the one shot. But so far, I've had a decent game, but I want to just get rid of this one shot so I can focus purely on the atomic, if I'm honest. We're starting to take the lead now in this game, but it is still very close. So atomic comes up just enough, so I thought I could get a shot into the drive wheel there. Obviously I've got the heat shell, so it might have not actually penned because it might have got absorbed. But I was hoping just to get a shot in and track him nonetheless. Now I've known that BZ has fired, and I've taken the opportunity that I'm just going to try and take him out. We do take him out. I am getting shot by a tank destroyer behind us, which turns out to be a tier 6 Hellcat. So I need to try and kill this atomic quickly so I can try and get into cover from the enemy tank destroyers. I ended up eating a little bit of damage in order to kill those tanks, but I felt like, you know, it worked out okay in the end, right? Because I got rid of the two tanks, traded a bit of loss of hit points, but it's cleared up that position now and allowing us to progress through this game to try and get some more damage. Enemy artillery did get a shot in and was looking to continue to shoot us, but thankfully for us we lose our spot, and I'm just trying to get to the rest of the damage now. We do have a medium tank down the one line on the mini-map, so hopefully he may have spotted anything which could be going towards our base. I'm not going to head back to our base yet. I'm just going to try, I feel like I'm just going to try and push and try and get to the damage. As I was making my advance, we do spot an enemy BZ here on the right of us. I'm going to turn to try and deal with this tank. He's still a two-shot to us, so hopefully we can get a shot or two if we're lucky into this tank. We are still a two-shot to this tank. He does get shot, and when he turns his turret, so we put a nice side shot into his turret. Now, if you're fighting these tanks, just to note that the roof only has 45mm of armour, so that is an easy pen for you as well. We put a shot into that enemy artillery there who's got spotted, and we're going to go for a second shot in this artillery. Maybe I should have waited for us reloaded though, because he does splash us, but it's not the end of the world. We've got 2 pens in for it, and it's put us under 4,000 damage with 3 kills and just shy of 700 assistance now. Only 3 tanks remaining, so you'd like to think that we would get the win on this game, but you never know. It's going to take me a while to get to the damage, and I have no idea the hit points remaining of the enemy team. I know there's a Minotaur and an Iron Rain has just killed our Huntsman and the enemy artillery, but I know where the Iron Rain is, or at the moment I know where he is because you can see he's spotted at the J4 location. I don't know where the Minotaur is. I haven't seen him all game, so I have no idea on his hit points pool. I'm hoping that he's not heading to our cap circle, because it'll take us a while to get back to that cap circle. Now I'm just going to try and push over to where the Iron Rain is. Now the Iron Rain would be on reload because he killed a Huntsman, but it's not going to be that long now until he's sort of reloaded his clip. It does have a long reload, but I think it's getting to that point where he might have reloaded. So I'm going to try and cross, and I'm really just hoping that I don't get spotted on the cross, because if I do get spotted on the cross and if he's ready to fire, the Iron Rain can kill us very, very quickly. But he's not going to be able to kill me and the heavy tank with us. But thankfully now he didn't spot us. He's obviously not looking this way. I'm guessing maybe he started to relocate. But we're going to move up to try and head to where he was, because I'm just trying to get as much out of this game. But as I make my advancements, the full health Minotaur gets spotted. Now I'm trying to put a shot into him, but I'm not going to pen them really, because I've got the heat shells loaded on his side armour. But I definitely won't pen with the AP rounds, so I'm going to need to fire my heat shells. I won't pen at this distance. Remember, you've got a little bit of drop off as well with the AP, but whereas the heat, you don't get any penetration drop off over distance. So I can pen his little tumour, if you like, in the middle, and I do pen that. I've just got to be able to hit it. It gets put onto a 2-shot to us, no, a potential 1-shot to us now, hoping to see if we can finish him off, and we do, and that puts us on to just shy now of 5,000 damage, with the enemy Iron Rain and the enemy artillery left to deal with. I'm pushing up here. I am spotted, but I'm not targeted. We get a nice shot into enemy artillery, which gets spotted, putting us just above 5,000 damage with 4 kills and 900 assistance now, and it's just the Iron Rain. This is going to be a win because the Iron Rain's still not spotted here, so he's not going to get back to the reset. I'm just hoping that we can find him. Now, what I should have done is loaded the HE after I killed the Minotaur, but I didn't, and I'm not going to reload now because I don't know where the Iron Rain is, and if he comes around the corner I want to be able to get a shot in before he kills me. But we only have 8 seconds left on the clock, and then the Iron Rain gets spotted, and I snapshot that. I wish I held my fire for a second longer because I would have got a shot in. Now I would have been able to kill the tank, actually. I would have killed the Iron Rain, but we didn't get out of the cap circle, which is a shame because it would have been nice to get the 5th kill. But that is the end of the video. So we get 4 kills, 5,000 damage, 1,000 assistance, and the ace tanker for the final replay. So there you go. That is the 112. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I say, the tank for me, it's not for me. I didn't quite show it in these replays, but you'll see when you play it that the tank can be derpy. Obviously in these particular ones, it hit more than it didn't, to be honest with you. But I find you really do need to let the aim, fully aim in to make sure you're going to hit. But that's it. So thank you so much for your support, and as always, happy tanking.